Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't know the answer to a question? Not knowing an answer isn't a sign of weakness, it's a part of being human. Today, we're exploring 13 common phrases you can use to say, I don't know. First off, I wish I knew. This phrase is perfect when you genuinely want to know the answer, but sadly don't. For instance, when someone asks, who won the football match last night? And you didn't watch it, you could say, I wish I knew. Next up, I'm unsure myself. Use this when you're equally puzzled by the question. For example, if someone asks you about a complicated math problem, you could reply, I'm unsure myself. Then there's, I'm not up to speed on that. This phrase is ideal when you're behind on a particular topic. If someone asks you about the latest political developments and you haven't been following the news, you could say, I'm not up to speed on that. Our fourth phrase, I'm afraid I can't shed any light on that, is a polite and formal way of saying you don't know. If someone asks you about a colleague's whereabouts and you have no clue, you could say, I'm afraid I can't shed any light on that. Moving on to, that's a mystery to me. Use this phrase when the question is as baffling to you as it is to the asker. For example, if someone asks you why their car won't start and you're not a mechanic, you might say, that's a mystery to me. Next we have, I'm stumped, a great phrase to use when a question has you completely baffled. For instance, if someone asks you a tricky riddle, you can say, I'm stumped. The seventh phrase, I haven't the foggiest, is a fun, informal way to express your lack of knowledge. If a friend asks you about the plot of a movie you haven't seen, you could say, I haven't the foggiest. On to, I'm not familiar with that. This phrase is useful when you've never encountered the topic before. For example, if someone asks you about a rare bird species, you can say, I'm not familiar with that. Our ninth phrase, I'm blanking on that, is a great way to say you can't remember something. If someone asks you the name of a song and is just not coming to you, you could say, I'm blanking on that. Next is, I haven't looked into that. This one's perfect when you haven't researched a particular topic. If someone asks you about the benefits of a vegan diet and you haven't studied it, you might say, I haven't looked into that. Our 11th phrase, I'm not across that, is another way to say you're not up to date on a topic. If a colleague asks you about a new project and you haven't been briefed, you could say, I'm not across that. The 12th phrase is, I'm not certain. This phrase is a good choice when you don't want to give incorrect information. If someone asks you whether it's going to rain tomorrow and you haven't seen the forecast, you could say, I'm not certain. Finally, I'm not informed about that. This phrase is useful when you lack information on a specific topic. For instance, if someone asks your opinion on a new book you haven't read, you could say, I'm not informed about that. To summarize, the 13 phrases we've covered today are, I wish I knew, I'm unsure myself, I'm not up to speed on that, I'm afraid I can't shed any light on that, that's a mystery to me, I'm stumped, I haven't the foggiest, I'm not familiar with that, I'm blanking on that, I haven't looked into that, I'm not across that, I'm not certain, I'm not informed about that. Remember, it's okay not to know everything. The key is knowing how to express it. So, the next time you find yourself at a loss for an answer, feel free to use one of these phrases.